Hey YouTube, it's Mizuki, back in another video, and in today's video I decided to run back the tier list because I saw that you guys enjoyed it, and I personally enjoy talking about these things, so, you know, why not? Realistically, there's been quite a bit of reses in Reaper 2, and not enough good tier lists that at least I saw. For the most part, it's just like people making the gameplay, and then like half the way through the gameplay they just like pop the rank or the tier they're putting the res in, like in the middle of the screen for like 10 seconds and continue the gameplay. Here I kind of want to have an actual chart and whatnot and explain to you guys why each of these reses is where it's at individually, more or less. So right off the bat, we got a pretty interesting one. We got Ulquiorra, and this one I'm gonna put in S tier. The reason for that is because Ulquiorra's res has quite a bit of perks and passives. The first things first, it has two forms. It has a Segunda and it has its normal res. Another thing is that both Seros do 100% more damage, but have a 2-second longer startup time. That's a pretty big pro because, I mean, if you have Seros that do 100% more damage and only have 2 seconds longer startup time, I mean, come on, that's so worth it. The res itself also increases the damage of the Sero grab, making it reach a whopping 135 damage, which is pretty insane in my opinion. The M1 range is pretty wild as well due to the fact that Ulquiorra's first res has spears. The move in general orbits around having a large hitbox. An example could be the move Luz de la... Okay, I can't pronounce this one. Luz de la Luna, which is basically Ulquiorra throws one of his spears and it's just a tornado sucking thing. It's pretty sick. Compared to most reses, you can make a very wild chain of combos, which can lead to serious damage in my opinion. On top of that, you get 2 max heals from transforming, first to your res and to your Segunda. Some side perks could be 50% speed increase and 100% passive health regen, which are just absolutely awesome. Overall, I believe the Ulquiorra res, it's really hard to get, but once you do get it, you're kind of set. Now, I'm going to put Ulquiorra's res again in the S tier just because it has so many damn perks. So now we got Baragon's res. Now, Baragon's res is another really good one, but I'm going to have to put it in A tier. And the reason for that is because Baragon's res, it's a good move, but it is a little slow and it's not really my type. I wouldn't use this res personally, but here are some of the perks. Passive 1, you get this huge axe. From the first transformation at least. And from passive 2, you get Baragon's Ra ability, and you just get his entire cloak and uniform. The Ra ability is something which can be used as tick damage, and it's basically like you get these black flames on your opponent and they just like do a lot of damage off of them. Tick damage. And you can honestly make a real nice combo off of Baragon's res by using her spear grab into normal res spear and summon his axe too to chip off damage. And you could also throw it. I mean, there's so many things you could do. And this is a really good res for combos. And that's why it's so high up on the list. Overall, the busted thing about the res is its stick damage and its decent ability to make a good combo. Another move that Baragon's res holds is Deny, and it can be used to deactivate all Kita moves, which are basically around you, which is very convenient. It also acts as a slowdown move, kind of a stun. So it like slows your opponent down. Yeah, overall I believe Baragon's res is cool. It really depends on your style of playing a Bleach game. Like, I like the tick damage part, but as you guys can see later in this list, I'll show you guys which one I truly like. Baragon's res is still up there. It's a high A in my opinion. As for the third one, we got Volcan. Yeah, Volcan. Every time I use to spin, I'd always get this one. For obvious reasons. It's a common res. Believe it or not, it's not the worst. Now, I'm gonna be honest, compared to the other reses on this list, I'd give Volcan a B. It's pretty mid. It's not that bad, it's decent. It has a very large hitbox, and for its attacks at least, and if used right, could do a lot of damage. I've used this one for quite some time, so I know what I'm talking about. I've been able to beat all the other reses, except for like the legendary and the mythical ones on the list. That's why it's so high up. It also has minor tick damage from the flames, which is pretty cool. It's kind of like Baragon's res, but the tick damage is a lot slower. Dude, these mosquitoes are literally everywhere. Dude, literally all of my legs, like, they're just covered in bites. It's pretty bad this summer. But anyways, the Volcan res, it's not very good for combos, but it is great for farming. So If you guys need to kill a lot of follows in the area, this is definitely one. It's just splash damage. Now, the next one up on this list is Noitora Res, and this is my favorite one. I'm gonna put Noitora Res on S. I don't care what y'all say. This one is so sick. It gives you Noitora Zanpato for the first transformation. Well, you don't even need to transform, I think. I think you just get it automatically, which has a really broken hitbox because of the long reach of the Zanpato itself. Pretty good at keeping players at bay when you're fighting. It's not just a broken res for its flashy looks and abilities, but also Santa Teresa gives you the ability to do insanely long chains of combos, while also keeping your opponent at bay with its long reach. There's a move called Blade Zephyr. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's a tornado of slashes that lasts depending on the level of your Ryatsu. So if you have a high level of Ryatsu, your opponent's going to be stuck there for a while, getting slashed and just getting his health absolutely absorbed out of him. Also, the cool thing about the Noitora Res is it grants twice the amount of hero as your max. So if your max is like, say, 6 or 8, you're gonna have like 12 or 16 at this point. It's pretty OP. The Noitora Res is cool because not only does it have a long reach, but it focuses on slash rushes in general. So if you're trying to get a good combo in and you don't want your opponent to get out of it, this is just gonna be brutal. It has 2 really good slash rush moves, and its Zanpato deals insane amount of damage, and it looks scary. Come on, guys, S tier. Now, Pantera is one that it's kind of been a controversial topic, but I'm personally gonna put it at B tier. Slightly higher than Volcan, but the only good thing about Pantera is its flashy outfit, 1, and it's kind of it's the speed boost that it gives, which makes you move super fast, and it also boosts M1 speed. But aside from that, it's pretty mid. It's not very good for combos like Noitora's because out of all the moves that Pantera uses, they're mainly like you do the move and then just like at the end it punches your opponent away, so you can't like branch off of the moves necessarily. And it's also pretty hard to get used to the speed, but in general, it's really cool. I don't know. I feel like Pantera is kind of a coward, res, because at any time you can just run away and no one's gonna catch you, bro. It's so fast. So yeah, I'm probably gonna put it at a mid B. It could use some new moves. Grimjaw got done dirty. This res isn't very good. Now the next one is a Stark res. I'm gonna put this one at a low A. And the reason for that is because the Stark Res is a little weird. You know, its moves are cool, but it has like a lot of ups and downs in it. But let's just go over some of the things it does have. The passives are, the Sero has a 50% less cooldown, but deals 25% less damage. So realistically, you do more damage than usual because your cooldown is split in half. Even though you're 25% less damage, logically speaking, you do more damage. But the interesting thing about the Stark Res is the fact that by clicking B, you get to switch from your guns, which you can't do any of your sword or like fist combos. You switch from guns to a blade. So with the blade mode, you could be doing your sword and your fist moves. But the issue is you only get 2 res moves, as compared to the gun mode, you get 3. Although that's not an issue since you could just click B again and switch to guns. So yeah, the sword moves do have 2 special moves, and the gun moves have 3 special moves. It's mainly a guard breaking res. Literally, like, all of its moves are simply made for, like, if you don't block it, you get hit, but if you do block it, you get guard broken. Also, Wolf Dash is absolutely OP because if you're running into the move and you're not blocking, the dude's gonna do 180 damage on you from that. And it's a targeting move, so yeah, watch out. These remaining 3 reses are what I like to refer to as the tres sheres because they're super. Okay, I'm not saying that they're really bad, but they're not very good. Similarly to Volcan. Oh my goodness. So similarly to Volcan, Yami's res Tronito is kind of the worst version of Volcan. The moves are basically the same. Like, it's splash damage, just the difference is the hitbox size on Volcan is bigger, which is funny because I believe Tornado's a rare and Volcan's a common, so shouldn't the common be worse than a rare? It doesn't matter. Bottom line is Tornado is just a worse version of Volcan, and that's just all you really need to know about it. Then Sombra res, another trash res, even worse than Tornado actually. The hitbox is very slow, moves are very weak, some of the moves do below 20 damage, and that has to say something already. And it looks pretty cheesy in my opinion. So I mean, if you could spin for something like Volcan or something, just do it. Ligero, it's a rare res. It's Hardball's res, I believe. I'm not really sure about Sombra. I'd assume Sombra's either Zamari's or Xylopro's. But anyways, Ligero it's a rare. It's a lot better than Tornado as a rare. But there's only one move I really appreciate in Ligero, and that's Slight Show. Due to the massive amount of damage you do, and you get TP'd into the air, so your opponent basically can't hit you. And it might confuse him, depends on how good he is. But aside from that, unless you hit a legendary res, you won't be getting any crazy passives or boosts. So these three shit is, Ligero is probably the best one out of the three. Yami's is second best, and Sombra is the worst. So let's rank them real quick. Tornado, I'm gonna put it at the dog shit. It's not very good, so D rank. So Tornado, I'm gonna place it at D, just because again it's a worse version of Volcan. It's worse than Ligero, and it's really weak. I mean, if you're a rare and you're worse than a common, you don't deserve to even be trash. Sombra itself is worse than Tornado, so it's even lower on the D rank. Oh my god. And Ligero is, to be honest though, Ligero is, I'm gonna give it a B. Nobody deserves a C. C is kind of just there, I guess, for today's episode. But I'm gonna put it at B. It's obviously gonna be lower than Volcan, because at least in Volcan, you could more or less farm, and it has nice like splash damage, and it has some tick damage too. But with Ligero, you only got one good move. But aside from that, it's not terrible. So I'm gonna put it at a very low B, maybe even a high C. But no, I'll keep it at a low B. Aside from that, yeah, these are all the reses that are currently in the game, I believe. No, I mean I'm serious. I think these are all the reses, and I've played most of these reses. There's only one that I haven't truly played, and that's the Ulquiorra res. Even though I ranked it the highest, I've watched a lot of explainer videos on it, and I've seen gameplay, so I kind of know what I'm talking about. But aside from that, sub, like, all the proper things, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao.